Hi, everyone. Hi. It is a great honor to be here, and nervous as all get out to be the first one up. So, as Tom mentioned, my name is Jasen Stine. I'm with Intuit. I promise you I'm not going to spend the next 12 minutes trying to sell you QuickBooks, just online maybe a little. I'm kidding. I'm the tax and accounting education leader at Intuit. I'm not the only one. When I introduce myself to people at parties and such, I say, I'm a tax accounting education leader at Intuit. And that sounds really boring, but it's actually a really cool job. I was honored to be published in Accounting Today a couple of months ago, an article that I wrote on AI's impact to the tax and accounting industry. I get to come to talks like this, and my name is actually even on a patent for AI technology in our training experiences. And so, I forgot my clicker. But I actually want to direct you away from me and talk about someone very special to me, my mother-in-law, Mary. She is a master seamstress. This is her on the right with my beautiful wife on the left. Does anybody know what a master seamstress is? Anybody have a master seamstress in their family? No? It's basically, you could sew as a hobby, but this is someone who has spent her entire career perfecting her craft of needle and thread. And exchange needle and thread with numbers. And does that sound a little familiar? Kind of the CPA of the textiles industry, if you will. Mary's had an interesting life. Technology has disrupted her work as well. We're living in an age that's being referred to as the fourth industrial revolution. It's where AI and machine learning are taking and automating a lot of our tasks. And that's not just our industry, it's also her industry. But she's done some incredible work. I mean, she made her own wedding dress. She made this poodle skirt for our daughter here. This right here we refer to lovingly as grandma blanket for our youngest son, Xander. And she used very creative approaches to build in specific texture, specific things. He responds, like the tags on the back of your shirt. He just loves those for some reason. So coming back to the disruption, the invention of the sewing machine and robotics and the assembly line, and AI and machine learning has also impacted the textiles industry. And about 4 years ago, Mary was laid off from Patagonia. You guys know Patagonia, right? High-end, high quality sports and outdoor gear. And right around the same time, her husband Mikey, who's actually down here with us in the wedding, had a series of strokes. And so during this time, she's going through this major transformation. And Patagonia was just restructuring. It wasn't anything personal to her. They just didn't need her skills anymore because they could be done by a robot. And so that should sound a little familiar, right? We're automating, technology is automating the tasks in our industry just the same. But I want to clarify what AI is exactly. It's not the Terminator. The world is not going to be taken over by robots. It's actually intended to augment what you already provide. It's supposed to be the easy button. And so my hope here is that you'll walk away from this presentation feeling a little more inspired by it and hopefully not fearful of it. Because if we can embrace this technology, we can actually be a whole lot more successful. One of the things that I keep hearing is this doom and gloom message around automation is going to take over our jobs. I don't think that that's necessarily true. It could be if that's completely what your job is. But it's just the tasks that are going away, not the jobs themselves. In fact, for every 10 jobs that will be eliminated, 11 will be created. They'll just be different, right? So we're talking a lot about technology. AI is the talk of the town. But we're not talking a lot about what are the skills necessary to be successful in leveraging these technologies and going into the future. And I think there's 3 key skills that we should focus on. It starts with vision and strategy, coaching using data insights. Tom mentioned that as we think about future projections and trends, looking forward versus backward, and client relationship management, and just thinking a little bit differently about this. So let's start with vision and strategy. What is that exactly? So your vision is your pie in the sky. You're going to step back, and I would suggest that you do this not only for your own firms, but also for your clients. So developing this skill is going to have a ripple effect in the impact that you make on the world around you. So your vision is going to be this, what is the ideal state, right? Think pie in the sky, think big. What is it that inspires you? And what is it that you want to inspire in the world around you? And then you build a strategy around that vision. Your strategy is going to be pithy. It's going to be somewhere in between. So you're going from pie in the sky, and now you're taking the next step of what are the main things that I'm going to do to achieve the vision, right? And then you set goals to that. Your goals are going to be SMART goals. Everybody heard of a SMART goal, right? It's going to be specific, measurable, actionable, results-driven. What's the T? Time-bound, thank you. And then you build a plan to achieve your goals and your strategies. The plan is the roadmap to get there. I had this old boss many years ago. He's not in the room, so I can say this. He wasn't a very nice guy. I didn't care for him much. But he had this one phrase that always stuck with me. He was a smart guy. He said, hope is not a strategy. Right? It makes a lot of sense. Hope is not a strategy. So if you don't have something documented and down on paper, then you don't really have a strategy. You just have some thoughts. And so to illustrate my point, if I wanted to win some son-in-law points, I might develop a vision and a strategy for my mother-in-law, Mary, that looks something along the lines of this. Delight and inspire the world through superior craftsmanship, custom clothing, and deeply personalized keepsakes. Now, one of the cool things about a strategy is you really want, so the vision is inspirational, right? It's big, huge. This is what I want to do. This is who I want to be when I grow up. And by the way, when I grow up, my mother-in-law, Mary, is 62 years old. So she's on that verge of, do I retire or, do I reinvent myself? And she chose to reinvent herself. She didn't necessarily use this strategy. I built it for illustration purposes. But one of the things that I want to point out about the strategy is you want it to be poignant and pithy. And so if you look at scale, inspire, protect, you sip. You sip the strategy because a vision isn't achieved overnight. You sip it until it's complete. And then you reinvent yourself again. So let's talk about coaching with data insights. Because you coach today, or you have data insights, but are you using them together? So what we want to be focused on is, and I will mention, you have tools out here like Panalytics and even QuickBooks Online Accountant, yes, I have to say it, has tools that are giving you insights that are forward-looking, right? And so how are you using this information? Is it just a data point, or are you using it to have a conversation? Are you developing a vision and a strategy, as we talked about, with your clients, helping them set goals and then tracking to them on a regular basis? I feel like there was something else I want to say about this. Right, and then also combining the data insights with all of your expertise, right? That's the real value that you guys bring. It's the experience that you have working for 20, 30, 40 years with multiple different types of clients and tons of different industries. You have insight that your clients just don't have. They couldn't possibly have it. You are the doctor of the financial industry. And you can help them achieve their financial health. And so lastly is in client relationship management, which I don't think this is necessarily new, but I do think we should lean into this more now. And it starts with just how are you interacting? A lot of leading firms are switching from just face-to-face meetings to doing video calls. And I don't know about you guys, but I hear that sometimes clients don't always show up for appointments when you make them. And so what these firms are doing with their video call approach is just going ahead and having the meeting anyway and recording it and then sending it to the client because it's convenient for them. because convenience is king in today's world. And we've got to meet clients where they are. And the other thing is cadence. How often? Are you producing a tax return and then giving some tax tips as you deliver the tax return, and then they argue with you over the bill because they don't understand the value of the tax return or the advice that you're giving? You want to flip the model. Lead with advisory. Lead with, here's what I can do for your business, and oh, by the way, we'll also do your taxes. We'll also do your bookkeeping. We'll take care of that. But that's not the real value here. The real value is you. Which brings me back to why your jobs are not going away. Because the humans are still needed. The machines can't do what the humans do, what you do. Can't ever possibly provide that kind of value. Because the machines and the technology are there to augment you, to help automate you so that you can focus on what's the most important, which is helping your clients grow. That's what they really want from you. So as we think back to the skills, right? Mary had to reinvent herself. She moved from focusing on how to build high-quality products, and now she's focused on design. And she loves it. She loves it more than she ever thought she would. I was just talking with her about it over Thanksgiving because I was trying to wrap up my final thoughts on this presentation, as a matter of fact. And it really inspired me because I don't think she ever realized that she could love that so much. She was so focused on the value and the quality of her products that she was producing that it just didn't occur to her until she was in the process of reinventing herself, and as a result is happier for it. And that's really what's most important at the end of the day, right? So if my mother-in-law Mary can reinvent herself at age 62, so can you. Thank you.